Hi all and welcome. This is Grandmaster versus Amateur. It's a Simulgame of Timman versus myself. It's played in 2007 in the Netherlands, and it actually is the game that prompted me back into chess. Timman, of course, I'm sure you know him. He's a great player, and I had the opportunity to play him in a local area. I had quit chess when I was 12. This one prompted me back, and 2 years later I started playing chess at clubs again. And now I'm still playing chess. And of course uploading YouTube videos. Jan Timman had the white pieces, of course, and played d4. I responded d5. Timman continued with c4, Queen's Gambit. Knight f6. I was totally unaware of openings of any kind back then. Still, I'm not an opening expert, but now I always take the pawn. Pawn takes, queen takes, knight c3 attacks the queen. Attacks the queen. And queen h5. Queen h5, of course, pins the knight, and it's the best place for the queen right now. e3, e6, bishop to d3, bishop to b4, adding some pressure to the knight. Knight to e2, excellent move. b7, b6, preparing to fianchetto the black bishop on c8, also preparing outbreak by c7, c5. Now, white castles. I play bishop takes c3, and Timman takes back with the b pawn. Fianchetting the bishop and taking control over the long diagonal. However, Timman has an instant and very direct reply to this. f3. This is for the first move. And after knight b to d7, e4. Magnificent. Timman, with his moves f3 and e4, not only totally nullified the effect of my bishop with his pawn standing here, he also has created a very large pawn center with huge control over the board. It really is cramping black's play. So I really have no choice. I have to attack the center and break free. c5. Now Timman, perhaps with 29 other games going right now, made quiet moves that he would not have done in a longer game. He plays king h1. I think the only idea with this is that after an exchange of the pawns, a future queen might get on c5 and check the king. This might lead to a few tactics, and I think he simply wants to prevent all the calculation with 29 of the games going, so he plays king h1. This gives me time to castle. Now bishop e3, rook a to c8, placing a rook on the file that I'm going to open. h4, depriving black of even more space. And now bishop a6. I think this is a useful move. White has the bishop pair, and I really want white to lose the bishop pair. My bishop on a6 also is standing a lot better than on the long diagonal, because on the long diagonal I'm biting on granite, and now at a6, or I will trade the bishops, or I will have control over this diagonal that leads right to the white's camp. Timman would not allow this, so he traded the bishops, and now played queen e1. I open up, and rook c2. Places his knight to c3. I play queen c4, knight to b5. Okay, now I have the move rook to e2. Timman plays queen c1. rook c2, queen d1, and now queen e2. Timman decides to trade queens. Now my rook stands on e2 and hits the bishop. Bishop moves to f4. Knight attacks the bishop. Bishop attacks the rook, and now the rook has control over the open file. Timman decides to play the move g2, g4, and now I had the idea of playing rook c8 to c2. Now black has totally control over the second file, and even though the move might not be very sound, I'm still pretty keen on finding this idea. Perhaps you're wondering, why does white not take the black knight? White can't. If white were to take the knight, which stands on h5, then we see that black has the idea of hitting h2 with a checkmate on after king g1 on g2. The only white piece who prevents white from being checkmated now is the bishop standing on d6. So black moves e5 now, and the white bishop is closed out of the defense. The only thing that white can do is maintain a draw by playing something like rook f2 d1. Now black simply has a perpetual check, which white can never escape. Of course, now the black king has to go to g1, because on e2 is even checkmate. And if white decides to take the black pawn, then I think white already is lost. Black knight takes. Now we still have red mate, and white has to do something about that. If he moves, let's say, his rook to b1, well, then I think we're still a pretty neat move. Rook takes h2 check, king g1, knight takes with check, king f1, and rook h2, h1, checkmate. So the neat line of play. Of course, Timman saw this. He calculated for quite a while and then decided to play the move knight to a3. Rook to d2, rook f to c1. I really missed this move. It's brilliant, of course. Black just needs one free move, and if he gets that move, then he will use it to close the diagonal, as I showed. I don't get that move. White threatens to checkmate. If I close the diagonal, then check, forced, and I am the one who gets checkmated. So I totally missed it when I calculate the knight sacrifice. I play f5, freeing the king. If I could, I would really like to play pawn f7 or f4, but unfortunately for me that's not allowed. So f5, knight to c4, and now I realize that my idea is going down the drain. If I would have a position like this today, I think I would not panic as much as I did then, and I would play rook takes d4, because after rook takes d4, of course the black knight falls, but we can take the pawn, and after pawn takes pawn, then we can, well, what can we do? Well, they have some compensation. Of course, if I'm honest, we are still lost. But Timman is also playing another 30 games, so that would be that would have been the best move. I did not play that. I went for rook to c2. Why rook c2? Somewhere in my fragile little mind, I still thought that I had the opportunity to go for a perpetual, but of course I did not. He takes. I closed the diagonal. It's a bit too late though, because of course he takes the rook, and after the rooks are traded, the game is all over. I still continue because I like playing against Timman a lot. And after the knight's traded down, I play f takes. F takes. I wanted to see how I went down. Rook to e2. Rook to g1, and now it was clear enough for me. So I shook his hand, and I took with me the game I played against him, and I analyzed it. And 4 years later, I published it on YouTube. Thank you for watching me lose against Timman. I hope I see you again in other videos. Bye bye.